Welcome to Get Your Talk Ready to Rock Bootcamp. I'm Lisa Reed. I'm saying this very officially because you might be listening to this on a recording, but I'm super excited because we're all here live today prior to the recording being released. So welcome everyone. This is going to be an amazing day. We still have some people coming in. We're just going to welcome them in with open arms. I have so many great lessons and experiences coming your way. This is going to be awesome. So I'm very excited, and I'll be sharing my screen in a moment. And I just want to make sure that you have all you need to be comfortable. Maybe your water or tea or coffee, whatever that is, pen and paper, have that handy because you're going to be creating some amazing things today. And this is all in service of your brilliance getting out on paper so that your brilliance can then get out into other people's ears and hearts and souls, right? This is an amazing day. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick share of the screen while we're all coming on in. And what do I want to do? Here we go. Okay. Let me see a quick thumbs up. Let me see if your thumbs are working. Can you see the get your talk ready? Yes, good. All right, cool. All right, so we'll be going back and forth with PowerPoint and not, and we still have a lot of people coming in, which is so exciting. I'm just gonna breathe in. Everyone breathe in with me really quickly here. And then of course, slowly. Because you are about to create something really amazing for yourself. Something that is going to contribute to the planet, to the people that need to hear your message. So this is a very sacred experience. It's a very powerful experience because you're starting to lay the tracks for what you know needs to be shared. And I don't take that lightly. So today we're going to go through it. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. And because I've done this boot camp before, I'm also really, feel like I'm a kid at Christmas because I can't wait to see what you create. It's just, it's really exciting to see these things evolve. So welcome to the Get Your Talk Ready to Rock boot camp. I'm going to share with you a little bit about how to share in the group because we are going to have some breakout sessions and you're going to get to know each other and you're going to help each other. So let me share a little bit about that. The intention for today is to learn. So just opening that part of you that is ready to learn, to connect, to collaborate with other people, to grow and evolve into that next version of yourself. We are always becoming, right? Who are we becoming? And to really make this a supportive space for all of us. And I have a feeling that if you were attracted to my energy or whatever I was putting out there, you're probably already in that zone. You're probably already somebody who is really supportive of other people. And I say that because this can also be a vulnerable experience. You are putting your juicy stuff out there. And I know that sometimes that can be scary. So when we're in breakout sessions together, be gentle with each other, be gentle with your feedback, receive feedback in a way that like, oh, okay, wow, that's interesting. I'm getting that feedback. No, notice if you're defensive. I mean, you don't need to process that on the call today, but just note that, take in what's helpful, leave the rest behind, okay? It's all just here to serve us. We're all here to serve each other today. You may see Mary Beth in one of the Zoom little boxes. She is running all of our behind the scenes stuff today. So let's give it up for Mary Beth. Thank you for keeping us organized. And if you have any tech questions or your link questions or anything that like, can we go back to that? Or I have a question, whatever, you can put that in a private chat to Mary Beth. And then she can help funnel all that. She's also going to be tracking the recording, which we're going to be going back and forth a few times. So if you happen to notice that we're not recording, and we should be, Like, you can private message Mary Beth. I'll try to keep a track of that too. We are going to go through the whole, think of this as like a really long, like a long movie that you don't want to miss any part of. And you know, in the movie, they don't really like stop the movie, but you're like, gotta run really fast and do whatever you need to do and come on back. That's why I said, have your water, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do, because we are going to get it done today. Okay. You can have a nice big long lunch after this. Please prepare to be on camera. Part of being a speaker is being professional on now. Yes, Zoom, virtual. That's a reality now. Now, it was a reality for me before. I used to do all my workshops for the last couple of years before the pandemic. I did my workshops on Zoom and all my coaching on Zoom. So not anything new, but have I made adjustments? Absolutely. Yes. I had not done 50 virtual gigs before. All my speaking gigs used to be in person. So now we're on video. Make sure you're ready to shine. All right. Thank you for being on mute. I appreciate that. With so many of us here, it is important that we respect the sound of our space. And if you have something to share, that we will have times where you can, of course, unmute yourself, or if you raise your hand, Mary Beth can unmute you as well. I highly recommend you participate as if you paid $1,000 to be here, because this is something that I for years did not offer tuition free. Okay. This is the juice. This is the stuff. This is the goods. Okay. I'm not holding back here today. And I know this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to being a speaker, but having your talk ready is one thing that can hold you back if you don't have it. And it can stay in that dream state, that fantasy state. And we are going to move from dreaming and fantasy to reality. And we're laying tracks to do that today. All righty. I will let you know that this is probably going to be different than any other event you've gone to. Like, there's no one coming in doing pitch festing, or there's not this big offer at the end. Okay. So I will let you know how you can continue the conversation with me. And I'm just going to be super transparent, because I love transparency when I'm in an event. And that is to have a readiness assessment with me, a Rock Your Talk readiness assessment with me, to see where you're at. Do you have a talk that's viable? Do you have a talk that can bring you income? Is this going to work for you in your business? And we'll talk through that. I have a couple of different things that I can offer, but at this point, we'll have a conversation to see if you're a fit for any of the programs that I have. But we're really going to be putting our heads down and getting the talk done today, and at least setting up the framework. So I want you to think of today as a rough draft, if you will. I say that because your talk mine always are evolving. It's not like it's set and done and I never change it. I'm always learning and changing and growing. It might even be tweaking one word here or adding a story there. So I'm always assuming my talks are kind of in rough draft, Now, of course, after you do them several times, the rough draft starts to become more of a final draft. But I think of our talks as an organism. Okay. Let's see. I will make sure we land the plane on time. I am very time sensitive. In fact, when I was 5 years old, all I wanted for Christmas was a watch. And my parents, I don't even know if I knew how to tell time, but I knew that I wanted to know what time it was. So I did get a strawberry shortcake watch, which I was never a big strawberry shortcake fan, not going to lie, but I did like that watch because I just used it for the time. I was more of a Barbie girl, Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. Strawberry shortcake, not interested. Definitely more Barbie mansion girl. Okay. So a little bit about how you can laugh at my jokes too. That's fine. You can, even if you don't think they're funny, just for my sake, feel free to laugh. All right. So how we're going to learn today, there's a reason why I teach the way I teach. I actually used to be a teacher. I still am a teacher, right? Once you're a teacher, you're always a teacher. But I'm going to give you the lesson. So you'll see it on the, you'll see it on the PowerPoint, and then you'll be hearing it. Then I'll give you an example of the lesson. So again, just another way for your mind to process that information, because you're going to be, it's a learning process, right? Then I'm going to give you time to write out your own version of that. Okay. And we'll have that quiet time. I thought about playing music, but I know for me, when I'm in that zone, I prefer quiet. If you need music in your own, on your phone or something like that, do your thing. And then we're going to go into breakout sessions, and you're going to get to share what you wrote. You're going to get to hear feedback from your compatriots here and continue working it, right? And this is where it might be a tweak of a word, or you're saying something, but you're saying it a little bit different than the thing that you started with. And I cannot emphasize how powerful that last step is, because I know speakers, I know that we love being around people usually. Some of us are introverts, that's okay. But the action of preparing to speak can often be very solitary. And that doesn't really help us grow and evolve and become better, right? Because that energy, which is why I do, why I teach my academy in groups, that energy of being with other people and getting a different perspective can be a game changer. I saw this on our last boot camp. This one of the participants kept like just throwing titles out there, and I was like, like it just wasn't fitting. She goes into a session with one of the other, a breakout room with one other person who had registered last minute. So this could be you. You're like, I decided this morning I was going to do this. You could change someone else's life. They had a 15-minute breakout session or 10-minute breakout session. She comes back with a title that landed it for her. And once she put it out there, I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. Like, it's just a couple tweaks of the word. The concept wasn't different, but the way in which she said it was different. And so that's what I'm looking forward to happening for you. So just be super open to allowing other people's perspectives to come in, because we're all here to support each other. This isn't done alone. It's like takes a village. Okay. And I will do my best to give feedback here and there as we see, as time permits. And I know there's a lot of you here and one of me. So let me give you some direction on how to introduce yourself once you get into the breakout sessions, because I know as speakers, we like to talk, and we could talk a long time about ourselves. Who's with me? Who's with me? So I want you to utilize the breakout sessions to work on your stuff versus like spend a ton of time on your what you do and all that. So here's a way to introduce yourself. You just do name, expert title, and a credential, or your name and two credentials. Like, these are some examples of my clients. Katie Munoz, founder of Serious to Hilarious. Okay. Jenna Wadsworth McCarty, founder of Juvenation. Now, they could add an award, or if they were an author or something like that too. But something that shows the other people in the room what you do. And of course, if it's appropriate, feel free to share your contact information. But this is not everybody puts their long 2-3 paragraph thing in the chat. Okay. Because we have too many of us here, and that'll dilute. What the chat is for is when you start to create your title, your learning points, your description. Yeah, we can put a couple of descriptions there. That might get long, but it's to show, because when you put that stuff in the chat, that could give someone else a really great idea. And they also might give you feedback on what you've got too. So really, really cool stuff. Okay. And that way, when you go into your breakout rooms, and we're going to mix them up, so you'll get different people in your rooms each time, you'll say like, oh, hey, I'm Lisa Reed, founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now and author of Get Speaking Gigs Now. And here's my thing, right? So you're really making that time valuable. I'm going to do a quick check on the chat. Hello, everybody. Ooh, Woo! Hi, Debbie from Canada. I just saw Debbie this week. She's got an amazing women's group in Canada. All right, cool. Good morning, everybody. All righty. So let me give a little bit, since I don't know everybody on here personally, but I know a lot of you personally. Hi, Phyllis. I'm so excited. I can see everyone all at the same time, but I'm very excited that you're here. All right. This may surprise you, but here's a little picture of me. That is for real. I grew up in Fairbanks, Alaska. We moved there when I was about 2 years old. So here I am in my snowsuit. And what inspired me to have an event like this and offer it tuition free is a lot of times I see speakers really stop in their tracks, right? Have you ever felt like you're like, I just kind of froze? And they end up not getting started because their talk isn't ready yet. And it's like, can be almost a habit to say, oh, I'm working on my talk. I'm going to become a speaker. I'm working on it someday. And yeah, I've got a lot of ideas and I get it. I get it. And we need to get started, right? So it's like, how can we get started? Now, I remember even when I was in preschool, I was teaching. My dad sent me to specifically, this is in Alaska. I don't know how he found this, but a Spanish speaking preschool daycare. And for the purpose of me learning Spanish. When he picked me up later that day, he had found that I had taught the kids English instead. So I just can't help myself, y'all. I just cannot help myself. But I do get the struggle is real. So this is us literally picking up our Christmas tree in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, there's a road and there's no one on it. And it's not always easy living out our dreams, is it? Right. So I get it. We often miss the big picture. We leave money on the table as speakers and we get caught up in how it should be done and our doubts and our fears and all those things come up. And I'm going to address that actually before we get started with the creating the talk because it's really important piece. And I'll share some of my own stuff. So I'm gonna save a little bit of that here for you. But okay. I will say though that the journey is so worth it. Okay, all that hard work um, is so worth it because I know that everyone here has people in your mind. You have someone in your mind that is going to be impacted by the solutions that you provide, right? Yes, that's why we're here, right? We're not doing it for like a quick buck or something. We're doing this because there's something deep inside you that's saying people need to hear this information. You may have had experience that say, I didn't, gosh, I wish I had known this, right? So that's why it's super important. And when people work more closely with me, they start to get that and overcome what I call the speaker's kryptonite. And I'm going to share with you what that is in just a minute. And it was something, I'll just be really transparent. I was going to share this later on in the boot camp, but today, and I encourage you to do this as a little secret bonus tip coming at you right now. Listen to your intuition, especially when it's serving you, right? We all have that inner voice. And that inner voice today was telling me, share the kryptonite piece early. So you're going to get that early today. In just a moment. All righty. Here's just another picture of me in good old Fairbanks, Alaska, which I'm going up to in a couple weeks for my 30th high school reunion. Holy smokes. So my dad was really my first speaker coach. Some of you have maybe heard this story. I grew up with my dad as a hypnotherapist, and in the 70s, he also had his PhD from USC. So, but was motivated to become a hypnotherapist. That's a story for another day. So I grew up watching him give open houses and sell tapes from the back of the room. And I was in his workshops and I learned how to hypnotize myself when I was a little kid to help me go to sleep. And if I felt sick, all these things. And as it turns out, I got tapped to become the speaker for my junior high school about seatbelt safety, which I don't know any kids who really want to learn about that. But luckily, luckily I had a speaker coach. My dad helped me make it really funny. And I still remember how fun it was to do this seatbelt safety presentation in front of my entire middle school. That gift of gab and speaking did not go away. My first day at college, I moved to California in 1991. and went to Cal State Fullerton. My first day of college, I called my mom and said, I want to change my major to speech communication. I did wait until the second semester to change because my mom was kind of freaking out, as one would when your kid calls you the first day and wants to change their major after one class. But I did get my bachelor's and master's degree in speech communication, and even taught there. I taught that same class, interpersonal communication, for 2 years. And that was really the first time I remember that power of manifesting, because it was in the same room that I had had that class my first day of college. I taught in that room 4 years later. And that's really significant. I think when we, as speakers, I don't know if I mean, I feel like you're my people, I'm your people. As speakers, I think we've always kind of known that we were a speaker. Like, if you think about it, like, how long ago did you start thinking about speaking? Like, you had a message to share, or a lesson to teach, or something, you saw someone up there and you're like, I could be up there. Like, that could be me. And I think that's pretty common among speakers, even if we've gotten on another path. It always comes back to that. And just, if you can humor me, if you agree or you've had that same experience, just put yep in the chat, because I know I have felt that before. Yeah, right? Yes, yes, yes. Nope, doesn't resonate for me. I love it. I love it, Elizabeth. Oh, to sing. Oh, beautiful. All right. So I did go along my way in life. I have a daughter. She is actually starting Cal State Fullerton in the fall. And I do have another furry daughter. She is not going to go to college. She's got to stay here and help me run the office. That's Piper. And then here's my husband in the background, which is exactly where he likes to be. He doesn't even go on Facebook. And this is us at our wedding with our 80s band. That's why it's called Get Your Talk Ready to Rock. Like, I love rock and roll music. I love rock. So if there's a way that you can incorporate what you personally love into speaking, knock yourself out. Why not? I did do a lot of different things. I don't know if you can relate to, what do you want to be when you grow up? I know for me, it wasn't until my late 30s that I really started to find more my true, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if any of you can relate to losing your way. Oh, hi, Ashley. Okay. And let's see what else I'm going to tell you guys. Yeah. So I don't regret any of the career choices or decisions or experiences that I had, because they all led me to getting here with you. But a short list is, director of education for a college, director of admissions for a university, spa owner, right? I owned a day spa. What? I invested in real estate. We had a franchise. I've bought businesses, sold businesses. I mean, all these different kinds of things. And it wasn't until, well, I will say with that, I got a lot of sales background, which you're going to benefit from, and management background. I wrote a book on management, all these different things, trying to figure out, like, what is this? What am I here for? And I was really reignited when in 2013, a personal development company that I was already madly in love with, some of you know about this company, I was a client, and they said, would you like to speak and use speaking as a way to fill our workshops for us? Well, yeah, I would love to do that. And I was totally reignited. I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, I finally, my heart and soul and body and mind are all connected, and I get to speak, like, full circle. Finally, how many years later, when I had started, that was 20 something years later. So that's what I did. I filled 10 workshops a year. These are weekend workshops. I sold those from stage. I did many, many talks. All these workshops were filled because of speaking. No other marketing strategy, zero other marketing strategies. Okay. A few referrals here and there. And I would bring in hundreds of clients to these workshops. And I was what you call ignorance on fire, because let me tell you, that is better than perfection on ice any day of the week. You could have everything perfect and have no results. But if you're passionate about what you do and you're excited, well, then that's half the battle right there. You can't fake that. So I got to learn from master level trainers and facilitators, master levels on mindset coaching, which of course I bring that to the table for any of my clients. And I finally go like, oh yeah, I'm aligned. But there was still something that wasn't quite like, there was still a piece that I knew was not fitting, or like I had lost a piece. And now we're like here, right? 2017. Well, I'll back up. 2013, I created the OC Speakers Network, and I'll show you how to join that group because I wanted to collaborate and connect with other speakers. I was like, I love what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Has anyone ever felt that? You're like, I know I want to speak, but I don't know how this whole thing works. Like, what? What is a proposal? What's a speaker sheet? I don't even know what a speaker sheet was. All these things. But I knew I could get a gig. How do I know? Because in that first year, I booked over 80 speaking engagements in Southern California, in my local area. Okay. So this wasn't like me traveling around, getting on planes or anything. It was just like local on the ground work here, all in person. And I was starting to get feedback from a lot of other entrepreneurs, especially from the OC Speakers Network. Like, what are you doing? How are you getting these gigs? Like, I want to be a speaker. What are you doing? How did you do that? And they want to fill their workshops. They want to fill their coaching programs and their retreats and sell products and things like that. Now, over the years of me being with Productive Learning, filling over, I don't know how many workshops, 80 or something. I mean, we're talking almost $1 million in sales. We're talking hundreds of clients that are still engaged with the company. So I thought, I keep getting asked to help people with this. And I literally, you guys, I was putting my hand up like, I don't have time to help you. I'm sorry. Like I'm doing my own thing. And I got a phone call one day from a guy who was in OC Speakers Network. And he says, well, tell me about your speaking business. And I said, well, I don't have one. And he's like, oh, okay. And well, too bad, when we hung up, and I remember sitting there and I was like, I'm never saying that again. Like I officially, as of today, doors are open. And I started writing everything that I could, that like, what was I doing to help people? And literally got clients before it was like a year later that I finally got business cards, because I was already getting clients, because that's what it feels like when you're in flow, right? When you finally found that thing that you're in flow with. And over the years, I created the academy and, wrote a book and all these fun things. But I got to tell you, 500 talks later, uh, I love helping people get clarity on this. And we're going to do the get your talk ready to rock part. And I know that's just the tip of the iceberg. So let me share what we're going to cover today. You're going to learn how to turn your ideas into a talk, because if you have one talk in you, you probably have a lot of talks in you. Yes. Once you have that one done, you're going to want to come up with another one. I'm going to show you how to have powerful sentence starters to make your audience lean in, right? It's not just about the talk is part of it, but how do you get the talk? That's gonna come into play, those sentence starters. And then we're gonna do this Mad Libs method. If you were a child of the 80s, you played plenty of Mad Libs. That's a fun kids game to teach you grammar. Now ours is gonna be a little easier, but it's a Mad Libs method to create your description. You're gonna need this. You're gonna use this forever, y'all, because when you make it this simple, what happens is we don't want to spend a ton of our time on things that aren't bringing in income. So when you develop these skills that I'm going to teach you today, you can use them over and over and over again. And it will save you time. Yes, we're putting in time today. And I am so grateful that you're doing that and that you're willing to do that, because you're investing your time in yourself today, which is really important. But this is going to pay off later. And you're going to be like, oh man, I'm so glad I did that. Even if it was just that one sentence, it's going to pay off. So you're going to create today your talk title, your talk description, your talk learning points. And I'm super excited because when I saw this method, I get that it's an easy, like, look, it's just 3 little bullets. That's it. Just 3 things. It sounds so simple, but I get that we can get caught up in our own stuff. And if you've ever heard that story about the fish in the water, um, there's two young fish swimming in the water, and an older, wiser fish swims by and says, "Hey kids, how's the water?" And they say, "What water?" And that's kind of how we are. We are just living in our own water, breathing our own air, and we don't necessarily see what other opportunities are out there and available. Alrighty. Okay. I'm just taking a moment to check out the chat. Love it, Phyllis. I always tell clients that everything they've done up to this point has prepared you for the next yes. Oh, and Helen became a full-time author in her 70s. Yes, I remember. Late 50s. Cool. That's so exciting. All right. Some bonus things that we're going to reveal today, too. The 7 keys to speaking success. And this is what I cover in my book, in my academy. I have gone through all the pieces, like what is it? What do speakers need? What are the things? And these 7 things are definitely the things. And there's a hidden secret to speaking success as well. And we're actually that's the thing that I was thinking about this morning. And I'm gonna bring it up before we get into the groove today. And I want you to stay for the speaker monetization formula, because that's how you see, how's this gonna make sense? How am I gonna get consistent income? How am I gonna make this work? Okay. And so I'm going to show you the formula, and then you can start to calculate your own formula for that. A couple of things you're going to get please do not discount. I know you won't, but just as a reminder, don't discount the time you will have with each other and the time that you get to share with each other. And I see, thank you for, putting your info in the chat. We're going to not do that for everyone, because otherwise it'll just be so many. But I will say, as you move forward for your groups, if it's appropriate and you're like, oh, I really want to keep in touch with this person, then definitely make sure you share that information with each other. Okay. So today, have fun, be inspired. We're going to talk about some monetization stuff. We're going to get your Talk Ready to Rock workbook and template. Now, I'm going to make sure you get this. I'm going to give you access. I also want to let you know everything in the slides has the workbook and template information on it. This is so that you can have it for later. So you don't need to run and go print it or worry about it or anything like that, but know that it will be sent to you. You can grab it now. I'll show you the link in just a second. Or actually, you know what? Mary Beth can put that in there. Yeah. That link also has the recording for the last boot camp. Don't click on that because you're getting the new and improved version. But it does have the link for the workbook. So I'm just saying it's there. And if you're one of those people who like, oh my gosh, I got to get it right now, then that's fine. If you are okay waiting, you're going to get it later and have it as a tool. It'll be coming to your email, and it'll be a tool that you can use forever and ever. Okay. But trust that I got you. All the workbook stuff will be in the slides here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mary Beth. Okay, so here's the piece that we're going to cover before we start. And this is the intuition I got this morning. And it's really something that I don't always publicly share. So you really are getting some insider stuff. And it's what I call mastering your speaker kryptonite. In case you didn't know, kryptonite's the one thing that can kill Superman, okay? And as a child of the 80s, everyone knew that, but just in case you missed those movies or that whole concept, it's not real. Kryptonite's not real. It's a planetary, it's from another planet, right? But as strong as Superman is, if there's any kryptonite in the room, all of a sudden he's weak, right? Well, speakers suffer from kryptonite too, right? We have our own version of kryptonite. And why I thought it would be relevant for us today is because you can have the most amazing talk in the world. If no one hears it, it's not going to do any good. So I create a list of common speaker kryptonite phrases. I want you to take a look at this list here, and I want you to be very in tune with what is yours. No one is immune, not even Superman, to this kryptonite, okay? Yes, we work on ourselves and we evolve and we lower the power of that kryptonite. And as we move into spaces that we're uncomfortable with or are new, our kryptonite shows up, and it shows up sometimes really loudly. So I'm going to give you this list, and I want you to just quick review which one is yours. These are signs you've got kryptonite lurking about. I don't know where to go to speak. I'm still working on my talk. I'm not sure what to offer. Someday I'm going to do whatever, right? They already told me no. I'm just not ready to get started yet. I've got to work on a couple other things. I need to do more research. One of my clients. Oh, love her. No, you do not need to do more research. Stop it. And what if a million things? What if they don't like my talk? What if they don't like me? What if no one buys my stuff? What if they tell me no? What if I look stupid? What if I make a mistake? Right? What if it doesn't work? I want a guarantee. I don't know how to do this. I don't know if no one wants to hear me, right? Any of these resonating, or if you have your own, write that down. That's the first thing I want you to write down for your notes today. You can borrow as many of these as you want, whatever ones resonate. These are just some of the common ones that I hear. And I want you to note them as they come up today, as you're in different breakout sessions, or you might even hear yourself say, well, I don't know how to, note that, because if it comes up once, it's coming up other places, it's coming up again. And that's part of what we cover in the academy that I don't have time to coach on today, but that's why I like to work with people for a certain amount of time, because I get it. I could tell you all the strategies in the whole wide world. If your kryptonite is too big and strong, you will not get out there. Can I get an amen, right? We know this, but we still do it. And if you're wondering, do I have kryptonite? Yes. Mine comes in the form of, usually the umbrella term is self-doubt. So yeah, I have it too, right? And it can come up at the most unexpected times. It usually doesn't come up. I'm not usually expecting it to come in, right? Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yes, I don't want to be in competition. They don't get my value. Pretend I don't care what others think. Oh my gosh, yes, right? And Kat, yes, analysis paralysis, right? Analysis paralysis is a great one. Thank you. Or imposter syndrome, we might call it sometimes. Like, well, who am I to, I don't have enough experience. I don't, right? And as you probably know, a lot of this comes from childhood or just an experience that threw you a long time ago. And your system is saying, no, 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 no. We don't put ourselves out there. This isn't safe. Back, 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 back. Walls go up, bridge up, crocodiles in the moat. And that's okay. We want to honor that part of ourselves is trying to protect us and say, thank you for protecting me, but you don't need to be here right now. I'm okay. I've got this, right? Oh, Nancy, great. I was first. I shouldn't have to compete. Yes. Interesting. That makes me think of possibly, maybe you were the oldest in. Okay. Kat, who will listen to me? How will I find people to listen? An audience, right? Yes. Erica, I don't know how, or I need to research more, but then don't because it's overwhelming. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Our minds are so fascinating. Sandy, they're not interested in what I have to say. Yes. And as we have an opportunity, like in an academy setting, to dive deeper into those things, like where else is that showing up? How is that going to stop you from sharing your message? Yes, Deborah, thank you. I devalue my content and how it might be valuable to others. Peg, not people are not interested, still working on my talk. Yes. Gosh, yeah, that's definitely seeming a theme right here. Who's my audience? Thank you, Esther. Yeah, sometimes it's like this well, I don't know. So, right. For me, it comes up as like, I want a guarantee, which I don't say that necessarily out loud. It's a very quiet voice. It's like, well, I'm not sure if that's, I just want to know it's going to work. Right. I know there's a couple people because I've had conversations with people. I know there's a couple people on the call who can relate to that one. It's like, I like, tell me exactly how it's going to work. They need to know that it's, for sure going to work. Does anybody have that one? Oh my gosh. Who am I to think I'm an expert on this? Yes. Yes. Excellent. So good job. Good job. Keep going. And a lot of times you want to like push that one away and like, no, 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 no. I don't want, I want to just shove that guy, under deeper under the bed, deeper under the rug. But when we look, we look at it in the eyes, that's when we shift that power, right? Oh, let me look deeper into that. What's that about? And a friend of mine would say, let's invite it over for tea, right? Like, oh, I'm not valuable and I have nothing interesting to say, or who would be interested? Why don't you come and sit down and have a cup of tea with me? And we'll talk, tell me more about this, Anyway, so we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I wanted to give you that heads up now so you can start to create that awareness as we go through. All right, so let's get your talk ready to rock. When I was started as a speaker at the age of 40, I was pretty lucky because my talk was already created for me. I just had to learn it and I was off and running. But like I said, I still have that self-doubt. That kryptonite was still there. And for me, it was, what if I wanted people to like me, right? And that was part of my journey. And one of the things that I got a lot of value in is having a team to go back to get feedback. And yeah, wait, I'm older than 40. Thank you, Kat. Love you. Yes. I had a team that I could go back and debrief all of my talks with. And through that is where I started to uncover the kryptonite. It wasn't actually about the content of the talk. It was about me and how I was showing up, right? So that's why I mentioned that today. I wanted you to start developing an insight on that. Because also when people work closely with me, I mean, you're going to get your talk ready. It doesn't take as long as you think, but we also need to put those what is it called? And when you're bowling, the bumpers. Dave, are you writing on the thing? Okay, stop it. All right. Okay, so Dave's playing with the annotation. All right, thank you. Jennifer says, how can my message be relevant and how can I explain why my message is important? Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to give you a warning here. We are not going to go in order. We're going to start at the end. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to start with my title. And when you plan a trip, you typically have your destination in mind, right? Like if you're going to go on a trip, you know where you're going. It's the same thing for you as the speaker. You are the tour guide. Okay. People are like, let's say they've signed up for your tour experience. You need to know where you're leading them. And that is not the title. That's going to come at the end. I'm just letting you know. We're starting with the end first. Okay. And this is a big mistake I see people make is they're like, well, I have my title. And then that limits the creativity because you're trying to then fit everything you created into the title you've already attached yourself to. And so instead of being that fixed, this is how it has to be, we're going to go open. You might actually end up with the same title. Totally cool with that. But we're just going to like open up the possibilities. I like to say the unlimited potentiality of what your mind can create and what the universe can create. Okay. I know we have this little blue mark on here and I might get rid of that later when you guys are in a group, but for now it's just going to stay there. So I can see it. There's a little bonus speaker tip. When everyone can notice something, you might as well just address it because other people might be like, why is there a little blue mark right there? Oh, we're just going to say it's there and we're going to let it stay there for a little while. Sorry. I forgive you, Dave. I love you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about monetizing your speaking. This is the part that we typically forget to do because we are so excited about sharing our message. We're like, oh yeah, money, what? Yes. Oh, thank you. Thanks for taking that off. Perfect. Okay. So when people work closely with me, they have a monetization vision, a strategy, and a menu. Okay. Because when we don't have these pieces, we start getting burnt out. A lot of times I would use the metaphor, like when I used to speak in person, which I've got my first in-person speaking event coming up in a couple months, very exciting. I want you to imagine you're at the speaking event and then everyone says how amazing your talk was. Oh gosh, it was so you're wonderful. Oh, your message just meant so much to me. It was amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I love it. And you're driving home and or driving to the airport or whatever. And all those amazing feel good, warm, fuzzy compliments are that were there, but it's starting to like now phase out a little bit. And you have this realization that you don't have their contact information or you didn't build your list. There's no money in your pocket. There's no money in your account because of the talk, right? And if that's the system that's currently been happening, that's not a sustainable system, right? So we need to honor both your business and the audience at the same time. So that's why we spend a little bit of time on this one. Okay. This is what I call an action invitation. Doesn't that sound nicer than a call to action? It's an action invitation. You're not forcing anybody to do anything. You are like a farmer putting seeds out into the ground. You do not know which seeds are going to come out. So an action invitation means you have an action that you're going to invite people to take from hearing your talk. And here's the key, and it says it right there, that serves them and serves your business. Because of course you're going to provide value in your talk. If you didn't provide value, you wouldn't get asked back again. And you need to serve your business because if you're not in business, you are not going to be able to help people. You are not going to be contributing. This is again, if you're doing this for your business, right? Like if you're fully retired and money isn't a part of what you're doing and business building isn't, you're just doing this for fun, that's a totally different ballgame. But I don't think that's the ballgame we're in today, right? We're in a ballgame to utilize speaking because you love it and it's fun and it's a passion. And you also would love to use it as a way to build your business. Okay. This is on, if you're on the workbook, it is on page 2. So now, let me just make sure. You want to have sustainability. I'm going to show you some examples. Okay. So here's some examples of what is an action invitation? What is she talking about? And this might be to purchase a product or service. It might be to subscribe to something. So when I say monetization, it doesn't always mean you're asking the audience to spend money. It means what business model works best for your business to attract the people that are best suited for what you offer. Okay. It might be to register for an event that you have coming up. That might be the action invitation. That registration might have money attached to it. It might be a free event. Again, this is where you get to customize. I don't do cookie cutter. I know it's like, but tell me exactly how to do it. Well, we need to figure that out because it's not just about your business, it's about you too. I've got lots of different clients who quote unquote do the same thing, but they're different people. They like doing different things. And I'm not a proponent of making you, suggesting you do something that you hate doing. Why? Because then you're not going to do it. Okay. Or it might be to schedule a call or a consultation. That's the one I'm using today. Okay. It's a Rock Your Talk readiness assessment. Why? Because that is the best way for me to connect with potential clients because I work with people on a pretty intimate level. This isn't like a big, broad throw stuff out there. This is a relationship. We're going to get in your business together. I'm a little link arms with you to see like what strategies are the best for you. So that requires a conversation, right? Okay. So which of these examples works best for you? Or is it something different? Which one would help you build your business? And I want you to think about this is because this is that end destination that you're going to take people on as you develop this talk. I'm going to just check. Yeah, can you? Okay, I like this. All right, here we go. Yep, taking an assessment can be one. Yes, Phyllis, great. Could be a survey. Depends. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, no, I think it's an assessment. Yeah, okay, got it. Sandy asked, can I use more than one? Yes, but it depends. It depends on how long your talk is, and it sort of depends on what your offer is. You want to make it easy for people to make a decision. You want to make it easy for people to create an action. And if there's too many choices, it can be confusing. And a confused buyer does what? Doesn't buy. Helen says, I want to see books. Okay. Sell books, I think is what you meant. Okay. Kat says, combination, register for an event, schedule a call, and subscribe. Okay. So depends, right? That's going to depend on what is the best way. And this is where we talk about a monetization menu. So you might have more ways in your business that you're going to monetize, but I want you to pick one for the talk. Like really focus, like what's that one thing that you want them to do? Debbie says 15-minute consultation. Great. And Jennifer says, is inviting to a fundraiser a legitimate reason? Jennifer runs a nonprofit. Possibly, if that's what helps your business and you want to grow that, then that could absolutely be a way. And so you can utilize these for different purposes. It just depends on what your purpose is, but you want to know what is your purpose? Yes, register for event. Great. Good, Kat. Narrowing it down. Excellent. Okay. Let me give you an example. So remember I said at the beginning, I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to give you some examples, and then you're going to create your own. All right. So here is Mark Kohler, one of my clients. So he has a lot of different ways that he monetizes speaking. And remember, today we're picking one. So Mark's really a great speaker. He has very powerful presence. As you can see, he's like this, big, strong guy, very heart-centered as well. So he does corporate consulting. And he also expanded, why he came to me is because he expanded his offerings to create more of a membership type product that was a lower end product for everyone. So he has this very tight knit corporate consulting business, but like it's limited to who could be a candidate for that. But then he created this membership that was for everybody. So one of the ways, so those are two different ways that he monetizes, but he also sometimes is offered a keynote fee, right? He's a keynote speaker. So in that sense, he'll, 4 or 5 figure keynote fee. That's one way. And then through that, even though he's getting the keynote fee, he can attract the corporate clients in the audience. Okay. And then, Carolyn, this is one, if you're chiming in here, this is good for you. Then he also, if there's a talk that's maybe more local in his area, maybe it's like a chamber of commerce or just like a local entrepreneur event, then he will offer the membership because it's a lower monthly fee thing and it's for everyone. So that's another way he has residual income from that. So those are just a couple ways that he uses that method to have different ways to monetize depending on the audience and depending on the situation. All right. I think that's it. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now I want you to decide on your monetization strategy. What is the next ideal step for that audience member to take with you? All right. That's to help you narrow it down. If you're like, well, subscribe to my thing and do this and do this and do this, it's like, oh, it's too many things. What's the next ideal step for them to take? This can also change as your business evolves. Maybe you don't have an opt-in freebie yet. Maybe you haven't developed that yet. So maybe it's like quickest way to cash, get on a call with me. Great. You can set up a free calendar. I'm not going to get into all that today, but like a free calendar service so that people can schedule a call with you. And I want you to really get in touch with, because sometimes I get it. We can get into this all about me thing. How does that action invitation serve your audience, that participant? And you need to be able to answer that. Like, why would it be beneficial for them to go to the event, subscribe to your XYZ thing, or get that free thing? And how does that build your business? So again, it's both. It's serving them and serving your business. That's not selfish. That makes sense, right? It's a reciprocal relationship. Energy in, energy out, together flowing. For me, I know like my Rock Your Talk readiness assessment is going to serve that participant because I do coaching on that call. Okay. We figure out, does speaking actually make sense for your business? Where are you stuck? What's going on? And if I can serve you, I'm going to offer a way to serve you. Okay. So I already know it's going to be a valuable experience, whether they work with me or not. It's valuable experience. How does it build my business? Well, an assessment, a Rock Your Talk readiness assessment, helps me to invite people in a really genuine way into my inner circle because we have a real conversation. And when you go on the internet and search for a coach or search for solutions, you might get, the 10 steps on how to get your talk done. That doesn't stop the kryptonite from happening, right? That's really the juicy stuff. All right. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat here. Yes, let's see here. Okay, so we've got Phyllis says, do you think booking a call is intimidating? Is it better to have them take the assessment, which isn't as difficult? All right, so she's saying, okay, maybe I should position the call to be, let's figure out if you're ready to be a business owner. Yes. So I can see, this is what I was talking about earlier, where like in the chat, we're going to start like putting these questions out there and we're going to start, Phyllis actually kind of answered her own question. Like, oh, actually the way I've been thinking about the call is I can shift how I think about that call. Right. So it depends. And also I can even sense without talking to Phyllis, I know you know Phyllis, but that having that call maybe hasn't worked so well in the past. So maybe it's like tweaking, how does that call happen? How do we position it? What's really happening in the call? Is it too salesy sounding, or you're jumping the gun too quickly? So maybe the assessment is a good idea, or maybe it's a combination of both, right? Like how do we really make that happen to where it's more effective? And this is where we like start getting in, like, okay, let's really come up with that solution that's going to help. Okay, so what's one action that you're going to utilize today in your talk? And just jot that down. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, write it on down because we're going to go into groups in a second. You get to share that information. Leanne says, download my freebie. Subscribe to my list, says Jill. Hi, Jill. Nuggets of information to the participants. Yes. Kat says, registration. The participants gets lots of resources. Yes, they get, and then, yeah, and then it went in that they could get an invitation to a call. Yes. Yes, Nancy, pick the call to action. Yes. Or what I call the action invitation. Yes. Select that. So what is one action invitation you can utilize in your talk that you're going to develop today? And if you have multiple ones, that's fine. Put them in the parking lot. Like, okay, let's set those aside. But we're going to focus on one today. Just one. And if you can, put yourself on video because we're going to go into breakout rooms in a moment. And we want to make sure that you are there so you could be there for your fellow speakers. Yeah, Shannon says, schedule a 30-minute call. Yes. Dave, contact me for a coaching conversation. Yes. So I would, yeah, okay. Meg says, resource and experience. Tell me more about that. Oh, like that you're going to give them a resource? And a consult. Okay. Yeah. So PEG, maybe it's like do an angel reading or something. Like one of my clients would do a, I think she called it like a, oh man, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a 1 minute divine something. What she was able to do something in 1 minute. It was really cool. So maybe it's just a 1 minute reading. Obviously the conversation will be a little longer than a minute, but yeah. Yep. Sometimes through this experience, we're like Jennifer saying, I think my information has nothing to do with my actual work. Yes. Join my workshop. Yes. Grace. Ooh, doing a workshop. Cool. Okay. So we're going to have you go into breakout sessions and you get 2 minutes per person. So it's going to be two or three people in your group. 2 minutes per person. This is to share and get feedback and finalize your thing. So it's a quick. As a reminder, if you came in later, when you introduce yourself, keep it simple, sweetheart, or keep it simple, superstar. Say your name and your credential. I'm Lisa Reed, founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now. Okay, here's my monetization strategy. I'm going to, I'm having them sign up for blank, or I'm having them purchase blank. Okay, and then allow your participants, your fellow participants, to give you feedback or ask questions, or like if they're like, well, I don't really understand what that is, then you can work it and make sure it's getting clear. Okay, good. Mary Beth, are you ready to? We're going to invite you to the breakout room, Jennifer. Mary Beth will put that all together for you. All you need to do is click join when she puts the group in, and then we'll stop the recording once you guys go into group breakout sessions.
Lisa, I've got 2 to 3 in most rooms. How much time should we allow? Total time?
Let's do 7 minutes. So have somebody keep track of the time.
Okay. I'm going to open all the rooms if everybody's ready, and I know that there's a few people who will need to be assigned. Be patient. You'll be in one momentarily.
Excellent. If you have any challenges, like if someone's there but not there, come on back to the main room and we can work that out for you. We're getting you assigned. Okay, now I love your margarita thing the other day. That was cool. Share with the group. We're now being recorded. Who would like to share their monetization strategy they came up with the group? Just quick raise a hand. Nancy, take it away.
Okay, so I run an organization for women called the Dream Factory Community, an empowerment community. And we have, what I'd be speaking about, we train chief dream officers. So that's what my talk would be about.
Love
and
it.
So what is it? Actionable item? What do you call it? Action
invitation.
Action invitation would be ask people to, it's a membership or join the Dream Factory and pick which CDO training you'd like to participate in, because that's included in the membership.
Love it. All right. Give Nancy a hand, everybody. A little Zoom clap. Woo, woo. Love that. Love that. Zoom, 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 zoom. All righty. What else? Who else has one they want to share? Lisa Niver.
Well, actually, I was clapping for her, but I'll still share. That one I thought was clapping. I was talking to Dave, and I think that I'm working on a book. And so my monetization strategy of my speaking would be buy my book.
Okay, that's definitely one. Who else has a book? Raise your hand. Do you have a book? Woo, woo. Look at all these authors. Oh, I love it. Beautiful. Okay, good. All righty. One more. Who wants to share? Carolyn Barnes, come on down.
So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I specialize in stress and anxiety and alleviating this. So that's what my talk would be about. And then a step-by-step downloadable action plan of how to rapidly do this as a link for people to then download immediately, which will then say want more hands-on help. And
Yes.
we discussed in my group just the simplicity, how important the simplicity
Yes.
of things are.
100%, right? Can I get an amen on the simplicity? Keep it simple, superstar. Okay. Yes, it has to be easy. If it's confusing in your mind, you're like, well, so step number one, and then you got to go here and then go, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, your audience is like, done, like not interested, right? Because that's too many things. It's got to be, especially virtual, click the link, right? Boom. And you need to make sure that your link is clickable, which I'm fascinated that still that is in the many Zoom calls I've been in, people still don't know. I'm gonna tell you, just in case you don't know, it has to have the HTTPS://. No more www. As my web designer said, Lisa, that's for old people. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. But now I do, right?
That's good to know.
They don't do that anymore. Oh, okay, I didn't know, but now we know. Okay, yeah, it's got to be clickable. It's got to be quick, right? And then there's ways that you can, we're not going to get into all this today, but these are more of what I'll do in the academy is like, and then how do you get people to do that? Like, how do you encourage them in a really lovely way to take that action? I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you say, well, I told him to buy my, I told him to buy my book. I said, I got my book, it's here, right?
What you did was a good thing that I noticed in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
which was, here's the link to the workbook. But if you're trying to grab their email, build your email list, and then they have to enter it. This is what, if you have them do it on the front end.
Yes, yes, sure.
That seemed like a nice strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's all different ways that you can do this. There's a million ways to Sunday, but we want to keep it super simple. Thank you, Carolyn, for sharing. Okay, so we're starting to get some wheels turning, starting to see some ideas happening, right? And I'm going to challenge you again to think beyond what you. I mean, there's so many. There's unlimited potentiality, and then sometimes too much potentiality. We can think, oh, it's too many choices. So we're just going to pick one for today. All right. All right, moving on and upward. I'm going to continue. Oops, hold please. I'm going to share the screen again. And we're going to keep this train moving. As soon as I can figure out how to share my screen again. Why is it doing that? It's funny. All right, here we go. Here we go. All righty, so now we're going to start into the meaty part. Like my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. So I like food a lot too. So I tend to use some food and metaphors. And this is what we would call the turkey dinner part of the speech, okay? Because how do you actually turn your ideas into a talk? So remember, I said we weren't going to go in order. We started at the end, the monetization part. That's the destination of like that action invitation. But then there's the meaty part of the tour. Like you're like, I want to swim with the dolphins. I want to, go see the polar bears in the glacier. Like this is the thing. This is the thing they came to see, right? So, and the journey, and that is what we call the learning points, which isn't as exciting sounding, but that is what they are. Okay. People need to know, what are you going to learn from this talk? And when I say people, I mean meeting planners and the people who are going to book you to speak need to know, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for my audience? Will they show up, right? If you have ever had your own meeting, is anyone here a host of a meeting? Like how Debbie is? I mean, like a lot of people here host their own meetings. You, Nancy, you want to make sure people show up, right? And so if you're bringing in a speaker, you need to know, my audience would love to hear this information. So these things are going to help your meeting planner say yes easier. That is the point. You are not selling the audience yet right now. You are selling to the meeting organizer. And when I say selling, influencing, whatever you want to call it, you're putting yourself out there. That is the point that the next decision is, will they let me speak? Okay. So when people work closely with me, they get really clear on this skill. We're doing it now for the first time. Doesn't mean you've never done it before, but this is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your career. If you're going to be speaking, you need to know how to do this. Now, I know that you know how to create learning points, obviously. So there is a little twist to this though. It's not just saying what you're going to teach them. It's saying what you're going to teach them in a way that doesn't say exactly what you're going to teach them. And that's the hard part. It's called copywriting, folks. Okay. So how do you tell them without telling them that you're telling them what you're telling them? Are you confused yet? All right, that's okay. I'm going to show you. So one of the things that I do gift in my academy, because I get it, we're rough drafting right here, is a monetization strategy with me where we really fine tune this piece. We fine tune it so that it's copywritten the way that it should flow to get you the easiest yes. Okay, so we're just putting these together today, but know that it can be fine tuned later. So how do you start? Start with your pillars of experience. And I want you to focus on creating 3 learning points. There might be more. We're just going to focus on 3. You get extra credit if you actually need more. Most of my talks are 3, maybe 4 learning points. And how do you narrow down those pillars of expertise? Well, here's a couple of ways. Think of the myths or the problems or solutions that are surrounding what you do in your business. Like things you tell people about, things you find you like educate a new client on, or things that you would post on social media. And I don't know if we have any chiropractors on the call today, but I'll use this as an example. A lot of people have assumptions about what chiropractic is. Chiropractic care. Oh, you just crack backs and well, I don't have a back problem, so I don't need a chiropractor. Okay. I would imagine that if you were a chiropractor, you would hear comments like that, or you were aware that myths around chiropractic care are like that in the industry. But most chiropractors would say, well, actually, that's not all I do. And the spine is actually, connected to our nervous system. Yes, I'm not a chiropractor, so I might be saying this not medically correct, but I do know that the nervous system is all surrounding the spine. And when you go to chiropractic care, it can help you with so many different things, way, 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 way beyond anything that's going on with your back. And being in alignment can help you with optimal health for all parts of your body. So, and it also doesn't need to be painful or cracking, right? So those are myths in the chiropractic industry. So what myths do you find that you're overcoming a lot, or you're educating people on? Like Nancy had said, she's, founder of the Dream Factory. So people might be like, well, what's the Dream Factory? How do I know how to dream? So it might be, oh, these are the 3 components you need to start developing your dream to come true, or make your dreams come true, something like that. Okay. For Phyllis, I know you're in the franchise business and helping people select, how do they start to navigate finding a franchise? Does that work? How would that fit for their lifestyle, for their business? One of the myths might be that it has to be a fast food place. Like, oh, I've got to have a Subway or a McDonald's. But as a franchise specialist, you realize there's like so many different choices for different people and personalities and budgets. And do you want a storefront or not? And you mentioned the assessment. So it's like, that might be a myth that's going on that you're constantly educating people on. Okay. So you're just starting to run that list. I'm just talking as you get your list going. And then you'll want to now shift into, how do you say that in a way that's exciting or interesting? Again, putting your mind into the mind of the meeting planner. Why would that be interesting? And just make sure you're on mute if you're not on mute.
Corey picked up the bed last night. He did see some eggs.
And Mary Beth, if you can find that person, thank you. I think we're all muted now.
Okay, I'll go look at it.
We're not.
Lisa, I'm a little confused. Is
Mhm.
it like how to create more certainty? I'm trying to understand the list. that-
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so for you, you mean like,
Like
tell me more about your question.
I'm confused with the type of list we're doing. Are these
Oh.
the people's pain points?
Could be. It might be, this is like the pillars of your expertise, like, or you had said you already had an idea for your talk, right? Like that it was going to be about, tell me what it was going to be about again?
Just how to quickly find calm when you are stressed out.
Okay. So when you think of that title or that subject matter, what 3 main points do you feel like you need to make about that? That's what this list is. You don't
So
need to say them out loud.
overthinking, people who get stuck in overthinking, overanalyze, and now, okay.
Yeah.
Those are, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that might be one of your points. Like, I know another a coach that I supported in creating she had a opportunity to do a 6-minute talk in front of a really powerful group. And she did this really cool circus theme where it was like, are you overspending, over drinking, overeating, the fourth
Well,
overthink, I don't know.
yeah, I say that. Are you overeating, over drinking, over checking out of life kind of
There we
thing?
go. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
here's the next piece that you can now take those learning points and start to copyright them. Meaning like you've probably gotten those emails that you're like, oh my gosh, I need to open that email. That sounds so interesting. And all of a sudden you're reading it and you're like, wow, I'm just so sucked in. That's copywriting. That's one form of copywriting. So your learning points and your title will need to be copywritten. And these are just sentence starters to start you thinking about how would it sound? How could I make it more interesting? So maybe it's how to overcome, or the biggest myth about, like, imagine, again, like if I'm a chiropractor, it's like the biggest myth about your body that you never knew, or something like, oh, and that myth might be then the learning point. So this is where you start to say what you're saying without saying that you're saying it, which is where it gets tricky. It might be 3 solutions, or pick a number. The number one solution to best practices. These are things that you're going to share. So it'll be like, this is what I'm going to share in the talk. Now, you as a speaker have your notes on the side. That's what you're creating right now, like your notes about what that story, that learning point's going to be. But when you give it to the meeting planner, it's just going to be one sentence. So when I'm creating a talk, secret bonus tip here, when I'm creating a talk, I start with like, what is it that I feel is really important for the audience to know? And then I write my own notes of like, okay, is that a case study? Is that a exercise, a lesson that I'm teaching, a story I'm telling, a problem solution situation? And then I write that out so that I know as a speaker what I'm going to be talking about. But then I'm basically making it one line, like one sentence describes that thing that I was going to do. Okay. I know this is like, I get that this is kind of like a big thing. And it's like, what? But this is just to get you started in thinking that way. All right. So I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to give you time to work on it. And then you're going to get to go in your groups and you're going to share and you're going to really workshop it out. Okay. I'm going to check the chat really quick. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Kate. All right. So here's some examples. These are learning points that I actually used, and you may notice that some of these are familiar, right? The template experts use to get booked. How to turn your ideas into a talk. The Mad Libs method to creating a talk description. Okay, so super bonus tip happening right now. Yes, this boot camp is called Get Your Talk Ready to Rock Bootcamp. I also give different versions of this talk depending on how much time I have, in 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour. So these would be the learning points that would go with that talk. And yes, some of the content's the same, but you guys are getting way more than that because you're getting like, we're getting time to work on it. Okay. It's also a chapter in my book. It's also a module in my curriculum for my academy. It's also a one-on-one session I do with my clients because it's the same template, but depending on the amount of people or the context of the situation, that is going to fluctuate and change. I'm saying this as a super bonus tip because your content is very valuable. You can reuse your content in many, many ways. But what we're doing right now is we're focusing in on those learning points, okay? All right, so go ahead and write down. You can start with 6. I mean, however many you want, but we're going to narrow it down to 3. But if you're like, oh, I can't decide, this one's so good, that's okay. Just put it in the parking lot or write it on there. But I want you to write out 6 learning points. And this could be case study, a lesson, an exercise, a story. Could be a story about you, could be a story about your clients, or something else that's inspiring that really drives home the point. And then you're going to start to narrow that story or that lesson or that exercise into that one sentence. And you're answering that question like, you will learn what in the talk. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pause the recording while we are being recorded now. All right. What is one aha someone's willing to share with the group today that you just got out of that last session? Jill Richardson and then Esther. Jill live in large Richardson.
Yes, thank you. I just need to focus and hone in on my message. That
Yeah.
I feel like it's still a bigger, I haven't clearly defined it. And once I defined it, my messaging will become much easier.
Yes, excellent, excellent, excellent. Good point. Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh man, okay, I get where I need to do some work. Esther.
So when I showed up and was conversational and present, talking about experience, I was more animated and the whole thing worked better.
Okay, yeah, sometimes we can get real heady and then we're like, oh wait, let me move into this connection piece. I totally can relate to that. So I just want to teach. And I'm like, wait, no. Like connect with our hearts. Love that. Ava.
I found that we're all in the same boat. Like, it was really great to not hear, well, someone come on and have it all figured out. Because
Yeah.
I'm always thinking I'm going to be the one just to be all, not knowing. And it was just great to just share and hear. We all have different concerns, but we're all in the same boat. And it's powerful to me. That's
Oh, I love
powerful.
that. Yeah, that's the power of the group, right?
Yes.
When it all comes down to it, we're all human. It's funny when I'll talk to people who say, oh, I'm going to work in corporate, or I'm going to go for corporate. And I'm like, you know what? Corporate isn't anybody. Corporate is a word. That's not a human being. You still are going to be dealing with human beings. Okay. All right. Helen, I see your hand, and then Sandy, then Debbie.
Yeah, what I discovered in going through this is actually I can talk about myself as an expert in writing memoirs, doing research, how to care for artifacts. And that's a whole separate topic from talking about my book. But I can use that to send people to my book because they think this is how I did it. Read the book and you'll find out. So.
Love it. Yeah, so you're merging the two together. And I love that you tapped into sometimes one of our greatest gifts, the things that comes really easy to us, the things we love to do. That's the juice. That's the treasure right there. And we're like, oh gosh.
Yeah, very valuable.
Love it. All right. Sandy, then Debbie, then Leanne, and then we're going to move on. Go for it, Sandy.
Yeah. I got feedback from my 2 wonderful listeners that if I don't give it context, they can't follow what I'm saying.
Oh, excellent. That's so nice to get that feedback. You're like, oh, I didn't realize they weren't connecting the dots. Got it. Okay. Yeah. And when you bring people along, like, let's get you on the bus, right?
Right.
Then all of a sudden they're more willing to go on a ride with you, right? They're like, oh, yeah, I can get on board for that. Love
Yeah.
that.
Thank you, Lisa. That's good.
I can relate to that too. All right, Miss Debbie Boris.
Well, no one's perfect, but I gotta say that I was really great at giving people advice. But I gave them an example of what I did, and I said I just need to make sure this flows better. But I had the structure that you gave us, where I talked about my story and labels and things like that, and solutions. So it was it's just a matter of fine tuning it and getting it so that it's smooth and deliverable. And it doesn't really need to be that long.
Nope, it can be short, especially with what you do. You can always share 3 tips, 1, 2, 3, and then you can expand them or you can shorten them. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do with all the things that you help, and your credibility that you already, what you've achieved and accomplished is right there. You can't argue with that, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
factual.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Leanne, bring us
Well,
home.
it's great to be in the group to bounce things off. So I was reading some statements, and then when I got to the third one, they both like, oh, that one's good. And in our heads, we're thinking, no, this would be good. So that's always good to bounce stuff off to get different reactions, because too much we're in our head.
Excellent. How did you feel when they said, oh, I really like that one? How did that feel for you?
It was good. It's like, oh, okay, that one resonates. Then I'll definitely use that one.
Good. Yeah, that's what's nice about the group process, right? A lot of times, sometimes people say, oh, I just want to work one-on-one with you. I'm like, you don't even know what you're missing when you invite those other people in. It's so powerful and so powerful. And that's largely how I've been really successful, is having different perspectives and hearing and developing relationships with different people help you expand quicker and evolve faster. So I love that. Awesome. Okay. So we are going to move on back to our PowerPoint today. Oh my goodness. What happened? Things moved. Who moved my cheese? Just kidding. All right. So this is one of my clients and compatriots, Lauren Powers. She's amazing. And she, as you can see, she's got some pretty big muscles there. She's a 10-time bodybuilding champion. And if you know anything about bodybuilding, you have to be on stage in a bikini, which I don't have the confidence to do. But so I'm here to say, like, Lauren's a really confident person. She's a very powerful person. And she had put on a lot of events before, but had never been the speaker or had never, quote unquote, sold from stage, and didn't know how to do that. And what we did is we worked together to come up with a talk, just like using the format we're doing today, that would help her stay on track and have enough space, because she really likes to be spontaneous and she loves being on stage. But her challenge was staying focused and allowing people to, that have that action invitation. She would get so excited about what she was sharing, she would forego asking for anything. And she would see other people making money from stage. And she's like, how come that's not happening to me? Why can't that happen for me? And so we created a talk that was going to work for her and her style. And she put on an event. There was over 100 people there. And she was actually able to give an offer from stage and start her very own program. This was a few years ago. And she recently then now evolved to where she just spoke. She's an international speaker as well, but she started to get back into the speaking circuit. Things changed for her with her business with COVID and such. So we revisited her talk again, revisited, okay, what do you want to focus on now that you've evolved your programs and changed? And so she has a lot more confidence. And I'm saying that, like, she's been in videos with people like Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, the Jonas Brothers. I mean, kind of know that, right? But we all have that kryptonite. We all have those strategies that sometimes are in our way that are affecting us getting that message out there. So it's pretty cool to see her evolve. So I just wanted to share that quick story with you. Another resource I want to give you, and then we'll just take a quick break. See, I told you we weren't going to get breaks, but see, I'm giving you a break. See, you're welcome. All right. We'll do a quick stretch break. But one of the ways that you can stay tapped into a group like this is join the OC Speakers Network. OC does stand for Orange County in Orange County, California. We used to meet in person. I mean, that's Debbie and Phyllis. There's those of you on the call who we've met in person over the years. It started in 2013, but as lots of things changed in 2020, so did our group. And it's now virtual. It will be staying virtual. And we have people come from all over all over. So you can just pop in. And to join, you just go to GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/network. And Mary Beth can put that link in to give you some context. It's free to join. And you just simply go on, it'll take you directly to Meetup. And I'm just checking something really quick. We have someone off mute. If everyone could just do a quick mute. There we go. Excellent. All right. So we've been meeting since 2013, as I mentioned. This is one place that speakers collaborate and come together to share ideas. We even have an activity called Speaker Referral Circles, where I teach how to ask for a speaking referral, how to give a speaking referral, how to follow up on a speaking referral. And we meet once a month. It's the first Tuesday of the month from 1 to 3 Pacific. I'm not going to do all the math on all the time zones, but you can see if that works for you. Just put that in your calendar once a month, first Tuesday of the month. Meetings are $20 to attend. And you join Meetup for free, set up an account. It's like, if you're not familiar with Meetup, I've been using it for so long, but it's free to join, and then you go into the group that you want to join. So it's kind of 2 joinings. But once you're in, then you're in. So you don't have to do that again each time. So I'm going to let you do that on the break. We're going to go for a break for about 10 minutes. Thank you, Mary Beth, for putting that information in the chat. And please join us. Our next meeting is July 6th. That's, of course, we're live right now. But if you are listening to this after July 6, 2021, then of course, just go to GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/network and you'll see the next meeting up on that first Tuesday of the month. This has been a game changer for me, and it's a game changer for a lot of the speakers in the network as they get referrals. TED Talks even have come out of Speakers Network, and money and collaboration and workshops that people put on together. So it's a very, very powerful group. All right, so we are going to go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break. Set your clocks for 11:27 and come on back at 11:27. We'll finish up the rest of our Power Hour stuff. We've got a lot of really cool stuff to do. We're going to do the description and the title, and then we're going to go into some speaker secrets. So buckle up. We got a lot more to go, and we're going to do the monetization formula as well. We'll see you very soon. And you can go ahead and stop the recording. There she is, our recording voice. We're back on track, and we are going to work on our description now, and then we'll move into the title, and then we're going to talk about the monetization formula and all the steps to success. Okay, so we are trucking along, and we're going to land this plane on time. Do not worry. Okay, hold please. Get it going. Get the screen shared and all that jazz. Here we go. Mad Libs is coming at you. So I have found that whenever I can make a system out of something to make it easier for me not to do the things that don't bring in income, I come up with that system and then set it and forget it. Okay. So this is that system that we're going to do. And this, when I say create a talk description, when you are reaching out to, let's say, a meeting organizer, and you've determined, you're a speaker, they have a need for a speaker, then are going to get asked, well, what do you speak on? And you'll need to send them your title, your description, and your learning points. If you don't have that, I know for me, as a person who books speakers for the OC Speakers Network, I get very concerned because I think, maybe you've never done this before. Maybe you don't know what you're talking about. And my confidence in booking you goes way down. So you have to have something here. Now, and do not write a novel, because guess what? Meeting planners are busy. You are not their first priority. I know, hard to imagine, but it's true. But what is a priority for them is making sure the speaker's booked who's going to really deliver quality information to their audience. So what we want to do is help you learn how to spend more time doing what you love and less time doing things that take you off of that path. So here is the sentence number one. It's going to be 2 sentences. And remember, I'm going to give you the lesson. I'll give you an example, then I'm going to give you a chance to work on it yourself. So this is the first time you're hearing it. I'm already probably trying to make it your own. In this talk, hold on. And you could say, what? This is messed up here. Whoopsie, hold on a second, guys. Hold, please. Hold, please. I'm like, that's not right. Okay. I see what I did. Okay. I was like, that's not, I was a little typo. Let me change something really quick. See? You can make a mistake and it's still going to be okay. Nobody dies.
I'm so glad you're not perfect.
Don't tell anybody. I'm just kidding. Yeah, nope, not perfect. Definitely not perfect. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so in this blank talk, and then you're going to put your name, that's the easy one. Shares about, and then you're going to summarize your learning points. Okay, so let me give you an example so that it makes more sense. In this powerful and engaging talk, okay, so I'm going to go back to the sentence first. So in this, it's an adjective. You might pick 2 adjectives. That's okay. In this powerful talk, in this inspiring talk, in this engaging talk, whatever adjective you like that you think really describes you or your style, your talk. What is it? It might be humorous. It might be entertaining. It might be educational. And then put your name. Shares about what? Now, this is where we had to do the learning points first. Because how can you describe a talk if you don't even know what it's about yet? But you already did that work. So you're just giving an example of like what, if you were to summarize all those learning points, what's that sentence? That's a little bit harder. I get it. So I'm going to give you that. I'm going to go to the example again. So in this powerful and engaging talk, Lisa Reed, now I don't say shares, I changed the words a little bit, but this summarizes the talk, pulls back the curtain to share expert secrets on how she helps her clients get their talk ready to rock. Because that is a summary of when I'm giving this as a talk, that's what it is. Now I'm going to give you a moment to write out your own description. And I'm going to put again on here, I'll put the sentence back up in case you were still referencing it, okay? So in this blank talk, your name shares about what? Just gonna give you a couple of minutes to write that sentence out. if you already had this done, you probably wouldn't necessarily be here. So it's okay if it's a little bit of a challenge. That's what we're rough drafting. Think of a little kid tying their shoes for the first time. It's going to be a little clunky, and that's okay. Okay, dokie. Looks like we're still working a little bit. When you think you have that sentence, go ahead and put a thumbs up in the screen. Erica, of course, because you're a writer. The easy part, right? The writing, yes. Great, Kat's got it. I can't see everyone at the same time when I'm sharing. But. Nancy, do you got it? She's got it. Cool. Lorraine, you got it? Good. Okay. Lisa, you got it, right? Yes. Also a great writer. Okay. Keep noodling on it. It's okay, but we are going to move to the second sentence. Remember, this doesn't have to be done by today, but you're getting the tools to get it done. Okay, so let's move on to the second sentence. Remember, it's just 2 sentences. Sometimes I add a little intro at the beginning, but this is just your baseline. Like if you have 2 sentences, perfect. You don't need a novel. Okay, sentence number 2. This talk is another adjective. I would use like ideal or perfect for something like that. For who? This audience type. Who is your audience? Moms, spiritual entrepreneurs, managers, HR professionals, business professionals. Like who's the audience? Do you speak? I know some people have a business that's geared more towards women or towards men or towards health. Like, so who's that audience? And then what do they want? What do your audience, your ideal clients want? They want, and this is where we kind of go back to like the problems that you solve, or what do you think those pain points are? I'm going to give you an example. And then I'll show the sentence, the Mad Lib sentence again. Okay, so here's an example. This talk is excellent for speakers, business owners, and entrepreneurs, because that's my ideal audience, right? Who want to use the power of speaking to attract their ideal clients and make an impact on the world. Those are who I help. That's what they want. That's what you guys want, right? Like you want to use speaking as a way to grow your business. You want to make a difference in the world. Yes, there's tons of problems that I solve and all that kind of thing but I'm not going to list every single one, right? That's like the main gist of what I help people with. So what's that main thing? Like Ava, it might be, this talk is ideal for maybe seniors or history buffs or retirees. And it doesn't mean that they need to be in that age range, but just from talking with you, I think that's who your market is, who want to document their life or leave a legacy for their family or loved ones through a memoir, And it doesn't mean that maybe every single person in the audience wants that, but I know a lot of people who've thought about that. My dad wrote a book about that on quantum physics and spirituality. Mostly, well, that's what he studied, but mostly because he wanted to leave a legacy for me of all the stories and the lessons that he had learned along the way. Little sidebar there. Okay, so I'm going back to the Mad Lib sentence so you can start that. This talk is excellent or perfect or ideal for who? What audience type would want to hear what you have to say? And what do your ideal clients want? I'll give you a minute to write that next sentence. You've probably already been working on it. And then you'll get to go into groups and practice. Paula, you got it? Yep, okay. Okay. You might still be working. That's okay. Just keep noodling it. You're going to get to work on this in your groups because we're still going to do the title. So I'm going to move us along. We're going to make decisions quickly today. I know you can do this. All right. So when it's all said and done, you have basically 2 sentences, and I just put them together on the same page here. And you would put them in a, connected. You wouldn't separate the sentences. You'd be like, sentence number 1, period, then followed by sentence number 2. And that's your description. It's pretty easy, okay? And that's what you could send to the meeting planner along with your title and your learning points. They just need to know you have a plan. You know what you're talking about. All right, so we're going to do breakout sessions. Actually, you know what? We're going to skip the breakout sessions on this one because I think you can work on this one, but I want to get to the title. Okay? And I want to share really quickly about Leslie. She came to me after completely shifting her speaking expertise. She used to speak about bookkeeping software. She did a really good job at that. And after she experienced a personal tragedy, she completely shifted her business and started speaking about grief and developed an entire program and product that served people who were going through a grieving process. And her talk was able to be given to corporate audiences and to more local individual audiences, or audiences of entrepreneurs and individuals. When she started the academy with me, she wasn't sure. Speaking wasn't the problem, which most of you are like, I love speaking. That's not the issue. Like, I love that. I'm not afraid to be on stage. I can do this, no problem. But she was a little concerned about the topic. Like, is it okay to cry on stage? Is it okay to speak about something heavy? Will anybody want this, right? I know we go back to the kryptonite. Like, does anyone want to hear about death and dying? She wasn't sure. But we started to figure it out. Like, yes, actually, it's totally appropriate. Of course, when the organization knows what she's bringing to the table, right? You don't spring it on them, but you let them know this is what we're talking about. While she was in my academy, she actually created a list of like her dream places that she would want to speak. And she got booked for this dream conference while she was in the program. Fast forward a couple years, COVID hits, she texts me, hey, I thought you'd want to know, I got booked for a $10,000 keynote and 2 5,000 fireside chats. This was October 2020. So I share that with you because there's all kinds of possibilities. I hear people, you know, we've all gone through changes with COVID, every single person on this planet, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you're doing. It doesn't mean that there's not solutions or other opportunities available for you. So even with what she was doing, it probably became even more relevant, right? As people were having their own challenges with grieving in lots of different ways. So I just wanted to share that with you. She's pretty awesome. But when you get clear on your perfect audience and where you want to speak, and you're clear on your monetization formula for your speaking, which I'm going to cover in a little while, all the gears start shifting. Like, okay, oh, good. And you're clear on that kryptonite. What could hold you back? Once she realized that people were fine with her crying on stage if it came up, or that audience members might be crying, or that it was going to be a heavy topic, once she kind of had that green light in her mind, it was a game changer. All right, so let's talk about the cherry on the cake, the title, where we usually start, but where we're going to end in terms of this process. So the title is really like your main theme, right? And this is why we do it at the end, because it may have started to emerge. Your title may have started to emerge already. When I work with people one-on-one, it usually starts to emerge, and I just started keeping a list of like the working titles. And it's typically from something brilliant that you said. You just might not have heard yourself say it. Have you ever had that situation where you said something and you forgot that you said something really smart or really good? And then someone else says it back to you and you're like, oh, that's really good. And they're like, well, that was your idea. That's what happens when I work with people one-on-one. A lot of times we are speaking and we're not aware of what we're saying. But when I work with people, I am listening to what you're saying. I am capturing the brilliance that comes out of your mouth that you don't even know that you said. And that's usually where the title comes out. And I wish it was like this black and white, like formulaic experience. It's not, it's a creative experience, but it's something that happens when the collaborative energy comes together and we work together. And all of a sudden we get to that core piece of like, oh, that was it. Yes, that feels right. Yes, I love that. Right. And if you don't love it, well, your audience probably ain't going to love it either. So you have to love what you're talking about. You have to be in, like it's yours. It's like your baby. All right, so what is the main theme of what you worked on today with your 3 learning points? What sums it all up? What's your style? These are just examples. None of these may resonate with you. And it doesn't mean you're not going to title your presentation, The Solution I Provide. No, but what I mean is you might say, like, this is the answer to, your dreams or something like that. So there's 2 different ways you could look at it. Sometimes it's like a problem would be like the pain point, or solution is like the pleasure. So which one resonates? Which one sounds, feels, looks good to you? Maybe it's a transformation. We're going to take you from here to there. Maybe it's a how-to, like a behind the scenes, expert tips on, okay, what mistakes to avoid. These are all just examples so that you can start to get those wheels turning. And when you go into your groups, you're going to help wordsmith this with each other. It might just be moving one word over to the end of the sentence, or shifting something out, or editing it down. It's got to be tight, direct. I prefer direct. You don't want it so elusive. People don't know what you're talking about. Here's some examples. These are ones I've really used for realsies. Get your talk ready to rock. How to market your business through speaking. And I actually just changed this to how to grow your business through speaking, because I got feedback from it. Someone says, that didn't really resonate. So I said, what about how to grow your business? And like, oh, I like that. So again, I'm always changing and evolving, listening to feedback. Book your virtual talk like a boss. I use this one because a lot of times I work with entrepreneurs. The like a boss phrase, some people like it, some people don't. Super popular right now. Obviously, virtual talk was new because all my talks were in person prior to 2020, March 2020. But now I've done, I don't know how many, 70 something, I don't know, maybe virtual talks. Pretty cool stuff. I like it, actually. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna have you go into breakout sessions, narrow down on that title, get feedback from each other. 5 minutes a person, so we'll do 15 minutes, and then we're gonna come back, we're gonna do some putting it all together. I'm gonna show you how to put it all together, and we're gonna talk about the monetization formula, some other speaker tips to success, and yes, other goodies, okay? So Mary Beth, if you could put everybody into a room, please.
Okay, we're ready to go.
All right. See you soon. 5 minutes a person. All coming together now? All right, it's all coming together. Yes. We've got our monetization strategy. We have our learning points. We have a description, and we have our title. All right, we still have more to go. How exciting is that, right? Because just because we have our talk done does not mean we're on stage yet. So I want to give you some more tips and tools. It also doesn't mean that we have all the answers or that's perfect. Debbie says she still needs to work on her title. I totally get that. Who feels like they nailed it? Like, I got my title, boom. Anybody get their title? Nancy, what's your title?
I'm like, okay. I think my kryptonite was reaching there. Okay. From mediocre to miraculous.
I like the so the alliteration. Very cool. Give Nancy a big hand. Yeah. Okay, cool. I saw another hand. Was that Leanne? Yes, go for it.
What's your pitch? 29 seconds to greatness.
Ooh, I like
You like
it. Yeah. What's your pitch? I like that. Okay, good feedback. Phyllis, what's your title? You're on mute, dear.
Mine is, how do you start a business with a 90% success rate? Buy a franchise.
Okay, a little long, but a little bit long. Okay.
Right.
But we're getting there. Because I
Okay.
remember. Okay. All right. Cool. Like it. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna noodle on that one a little bit, marinate, and then yes. Okay. Good. Yes, Elizabeth, go for it.
Sorry, I had to find the unmute button. How is expert secrets for women entrepreneurs?
Ooh, yeah, right. And see, I can already hear that in the description, because like this talk is perfect for women entrepreneurs who are heart-centered and want to grow their business or whatever, right? Like I can already hear it's already happening. Okay, cool. Good. Trina, go for it.
Do you celebrate you?
Ooh, okay. I like that. Okay. Sandy says, what's Sandy's riddle? Tell us more about that, Sandy. Where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay. Oh, you're on mute, dear.
That's what my talk is about.
What is Sandy's riddle? Okay, cool.
It may not be the right one. Riddle is my maiden name, and I sort of wanted to capitalize on it. And my original title was Sandy's Riddle. But what is Sandy's Riddle?
And who's the audience for that?
Everybody.
Okay. And what are they going to get out of it? Like, what's the value they're going to get?
How they be in the face of a massive life-changing event.
All right. And that's what you answer. That's the riddle, like that. How do you be is kind of the riddle.
Yes, what happened and how I dealt with it and so on. It's a story.
All right, cool. Okay. Yeah. So we're still some of these are still we're going to work on them. Again, we want it to be where the meeting planner goes, yes, I want that. And I know what that is. So it's that weighing of the creativity and the directness. Yes. Thanks for sharing that. And I see so many good ideas, but we're going to move on. Okay. What's your family history about? How to write a memoir. Ooh, Helen, there we go. Full circle, girl. I saw Jennifer's hand up, Erica's, Jill's. Oh my gosh, so many people. Okay, Jennifer, real quick, share us. What you got? Jennifer.
Oh, I put it in the chat, but it's top secrets for, I can't even remember what it said.
Getting happiness in your life. I see it
Yeah,
now.
top secrets for getting happiness in your life.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I would shorten that a little bit. Again, I don't have a, yeah, top secrets to
happiness.
Happiness, yeah. Here we go. Jill, go for it.
Successful insights to being an accomplished freelancer.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Or even like and this is where I would play with it, like moving the word freelancer more to the beginning, right? Like the freelancer's guide to a successful business or something like kind of flip-flopping a little bit, because that's a key niche market that you have. And there's even something called the Freelancers Union. I don't know if you know about that. Okay. All righty. Oh, Grace, how to smooth and tone your skin without going under the knife. Ooh, yikes. Touchy. I like it. Okay. Blockbusters for a better life. Good, Dave. Very cool. All right, good. Okay. Nice work. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hug yourself, whatever you need. Oh, you're so good, self. Good job. Don't make me do No, it's a lot of mental work you've done. So sometimes getting in touch with that physical part of our body is really good. Like you need to roll that neck around, roll those shoulders around, get the blood moving. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. You've created something. You've birthed something, right? That's powerful. That's energy that you've put in. So I want to congratulate you for that, because this sometimes is the stuff, the sticky part. And I want to keep moving us forward because there's more to it, right? I'm going to show you an example of how you would put it all together if you were going to email this out to a meeting planner. Okay, so let me share that with you. So we're going to put it all together here, and you have all your notes available. You have everything there that you can access after the record or after we're done today. And this is what I call the example of the whole enchilada. I told you I like food. So this is literally what I would put in an email to a meeting planner if we've had a conversation and they said they'd like to see what the talk is about. Title, description, learning points. And I mean, Nancy can attest to this, Nancy Cantor, because I just spoke for her group. She needs to know, Lisa, what are you talking about? Can you send me a description? Can you send me what the audience is going to learn? So what do you know? I send that on over to her, right? In an email, because that's easy for her to read. And then if she, depending on how they work the business, they can put that into their newsletter or social media post. You want to make it easy for them so they can copy and paste it. So that's just it, right? Just a couple sentences, your title and some learning points. All right, so I want to share with you a couple of things. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I covered everything. Yes. All right, so I had said at the beginning that I will give you access to continue a conversation with me, and it's called the Rock Your Talk Readiness Assessment. In this assessment, I'm going to give you the link in just a second, and I'll pop it in again at the end for you. But this is an opportunity for us to connect one-on-one and find out, is this a viable avenue for you to take? Okay. Does speaking make sense for where you are in your business and for what you want to accomplish and achieve? In this link, there are some questions. It's an assessment, and I want you to answer as honestly as you can. And this is why I brought up the kryptonite earlier, because that's part of one of the questions. Okay, so you're just going to go to Rock Your Talk Readiness Assessment. You're going to go to GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/chat. Grab some time with me. We will talk about, if it's appropriate, if there's any programs that I have that will support you in getting there, we'll talk about those too. Please, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to waste your time, or I don't know, whatever, just set up a call with me, okay? We don't know. I just don't want you to worry about stuff like that. I don't want you to think you're wasting my time. It's my pleasure to connect with you and see if this is something that's going to work best for you. Because honestly, I don't want another year to go by and you're like, I see you on another thing and you're like, oh, I could have been speaking. I mean, that's lost revenue. I want to, if I can help support you in building your business, I want to do that. Okay. It's not a waste of time for us to connect. Also, my next academy is starting mid-June. So grab your time sooner than later. If you can't find something in the next couple weeks, you can message Mary Beth and you and I can organize something offline, and I'll open up my calendar privately, and we'll find something for you. Okay. So I want to make sure we go through these 7 keys to speaking success. And in that, we're going to actually calculate your monetization formula for your speaking. Like, I'm going to show you how to do this. It's going to feel very empowering as you start to realize what's in your hands to control, because I'm sure that you would like some consistent income in your entrepreneurial business. So today, obviously, we focus on getting your talk ready to rock, which is the first key to speaking success that I teach. I start with that one, not because it's the only one, but because I know that if you don't have your talk done, nothing else really matters. Like you're not going to get out there speaking. You're not going to ask anyone to speak. You're not going to like use any of the other strategies, because you aren't ready yet. It's like trying to join a race without having shoes. You gotta have some shoes. So that's what we did today. We did your talk. You now have what I call a product on the shelf. Okay, you have something to offer. When you say, Karina, I'm a speaker, you have a thing that you talk about, right? Like, and they go, oh, well, what do you talk about? You have it. So congratulations. This is huge, 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 huge. A lot of people don't, they think it takes years and months and weeks to develop this. No, it's actually a great metaphor is I recently lost about 40 pounds. And somebody said to me, oh my gosh, that must have been so hard. You must be, such hard work. I said, actually, no. The hardest part was deciding, because I put off deciding to lose weight for a very long time. Once I decided, everything was easy. And it's the same with this. Once you decide that you're going to be a speaker and you decide to put the wheels in motion, it all starts to flow. It becomes really easy. All right. So key number 2, create your ideal speaking gig pipeline. This is also in line with creating your audience. Who are those people? If you remember, I shared about Leslie. She needed to have comfort knowing that there were people who actually wanted to hear what she has to say. That was her kryptonite, right? Like we all have that kryptonite. Are there people who want to hear this? Well, there's like a quadrillion people in this world. Yes, now more than ever, there are people who need to hear what you have to say. So you can find someone who is interested in just about anything. We all are going through something. And if you're wondering like, oh, well, there's already someone who does that. Well, I don't know, Netflix would have never started. They're like, oh, well, people already make TV shows, so why should we? Like, no. There's no more TV shows we could ever even mention. And there's still new TV shows being made. Okay. So one thing that I will say is that when I first started speaking, I had 0 pipeline. And pipeline means like prospects coming in. So whether this is prospects clients or prospects speaking gigs, I started at ground zero. That first year, remember, I booked over 80 speaking engagements. It was blood, sweat, and tears, baby. I'm not kidding. It was looking under every rock and I'll speak anywhere, right? I do not recommend that method. It can be way easier. Now I barely lift a finger to get speaking engagements because it's fun. We're building relationships. It's exciting. I get to meet fascinating people. We get to collaborate together, like Nancy and I get to collaborate together and have fun and change people's lives. It's awesome. So I share all that blood, sweat, and tears with you. You benefit when people work closely with me. You get the benefit of all that stuff. You don't need to figure it out on your own. I don't need you cold calling and cold emailing and getting tons of rejections. No, let's make sure that you know exactly who you're supposed to go for. You've got your rhythm of exactly what to say and how to say it, and that you get more yeses than nos, right? Because that's the name of the game. Your time is very, very valuable. All right. So let's talk about money. Okay, monetizing your speaking. I am big on intention and strategy, or magic and strategy, however you want to call it. But there's something about creating, when I, again, talk about Leslie's experience, having a dream of like, this is what I'm imagining. This is my vision. This is what I'm putting out there that I would love to have happen. And then there's boots on the ground. Okay. There's like, well, yeah. And what are you going to do to make it happen? And that's that intentional strategy that is really, really, really powerful. So in the academy, we focus, there's a module on monetization, and then we allow for lots of space to make sure that you have a program and a system that works best for you, wherever you are in your business today. And that evolves and changes over time, of course. But you want to be really clear on what it is that you're offering. Because if there's any gunk, any of that kryptonite showing up, or any resistance showing up to the money piece, it will come out in your talk. You'll forget to offer it. You'll run out of time. You'll get like, somehow you may have heard people say, oh, I sabotaged myself. Well, no, it was your system protecting you from something that they thought was dangerous, right? When they, right? It's all in here. Okay, so let me share with this speaker monetization formula. It's really simple math, okay? Because I like to keep things simple. So it's three components here, three variables. The price of your product or service. Okay, so I want you to jot down. I know you might have more than one product or service. What's your main one, your bread and butter one? The one that you wish you were just selling this one. This is the one you really want. The one you love to do more than anything else. What's the price of that? Then, of course, your number of speaking gigs yearly. So obviously, if you're speaking once a month, that's 12. If you're speaking twice a month, that's 24. Those numbers are very easy, very conservative, okay? You might want to do more. That's totally fine, but I would just say one or two a month. Now, the third one, especially if you're newer to this, you need to imagine, what would that be? How many clients do you think you would attract in a speaking engagement? Yes, I know it's going to be different. Just 20 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or whatever, but like just kind of what number comes to mind? Oh, I think I could, with the product that I sell, I could probably attract X amount of clients. How many is that? And if your product price point is hefty, that's less clients that you actually would need to attract, right? So sometimes we get so like, oh, if I had, 100 people at $20, that's 20, like, but what if it was less people for you to manage? Not saying that's how you have to do it. I'm just opening up the realms of possibilities here. Okay, so like everything else, I'm going to give you examples of this. And you could just plug in. The point of this example is to let you know what is in your hands to increase your consistency of income or the amount of your income, okay? And it gives you an easy benchmark, because sometimes you're just doing like Facebook. Oh, I had one client who said, when she started with me, she's like, I just need more videos on my YouTube channel. I'm like, well, how many people are on your YouTube channel? She's like, well, like 4. I'm like, then you don't need more videos on your YouTube channel. Like you could have more videos, but do you like doing that? Is it bringing you money? No. Okay, well then we're not focusing on that right now. Let's get down to brass tacks. What is actually going to build your business? Now, you can add YouTube videos later, but just having more posts and having more videos does not guarantee more money, right? It's all about strategy and what is it that really brings you joy? Okay, so if speaking really brings you joy, then let's focus on that. Okay, so example number 1, say your product or service is $1,000. Easy math. Say you speak 24 times a year, twice a month, average. Say you get 2 clients a gig. So that's 24 clients in a year. We're just bare bones here. Total sales, $48,000. Okay? Now, simple math. I have a couple more examples just so you can start to see the numbers and how you can shift it. Say your product or service is $5,000. but you only have time to speak 12 times a year. And you only attract one client out of each speaking engagement. That total sales is $60,000. You're like, okay, whoa. So I'm actually speaking less and maybe you just get one client, I can still make more money. So this is where you are so welcome, Jill. This is where you can start to have more power and control and consistency over your income while speaking. Okay, because you can then start to influence, how do you give that offer? How do you engage with people to get more yeses, to get those gigs more easily without spending money? How do you increase the level of clients saying yes to you, right? All that skill is in your hands to control. You can't control other people, but you can certainly influence them, right, Denise? Okay, example number 3, just to give an example. Say your product's $3,000, but you speak 24 times a year. And again, you just one client, that's 24 clients, $72,000, okay? So these are basic examples. If your price point is under 1,000, then you're probably going to attract more clients. If your price point is under 100, well then yeah, you're going to need to attract more clients, but it's probably a little bit of an easier yes. Or it might be a residual thing, like maybe it's a membership where you're like, oh, they're paying XYZ every month. Okay, so this is where you can start to, I know, yes, we talk a lot about speaking in the academy. It's all about speaking, but it's also about how do you actually generate money for your business and all these different things. Like, let's plug and play and see what works best for you, what works with your schedule. And that's how you can really start to empower yourself. So I want you to be doing that math for you. And I want you to know that 1 to 2 speaking gigs a month is so doable. So doable for everyone here so far from what I've heard. Either I know you or I've been watching the chat. If you haven't put anything in the chat, then maybe I don't know yet. I'm looking at the names. Yeah, I know a couple of people I haven't heard from, but that's okay. So super powerful stuff. How many in here would like to have more consistent income and control over their money? Yes, yeah, of course we want that. All right, key number 4. This is what I refer to sometimes as the unsexy side of speaking. And that is the system to getting asked back again and again and again. So the idea is that you want to be creating that we want you effect. How do you show up in an organized manner to make sure that your credibility stays high, to build those relationships? That's the key. I've had clients come to me and they hired me because they're like, I've got my talk. I'm not afraid to talk. I'm really good. I have a list. I subscribe to this list. I've got all these speaking leads and everyone's saying no to me. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? Like, this isn't working. I think speaking's not working. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we need to clearly look at what is it that you're saying. How are you reaching out to people? What's going on, right? That is a magical conversation right there. And sometimes I have another client who, she's brilliant, international speaker, trained thousands of people. That's not the problem. She's a brilliant writer. Her kryptonite is organization. And it'll take her hours to find documents. So then she doesn't do it because she can't find anything. And I'm like, we need to stop this anxiety making that's happening. That was actually the thing getting in her way. And let me tell you, once we figure that out, she's got a corporate contract with a very, very famous, I don't want to say the name, but designer company. And it's over several states, multiple states contract. She's now getting trainers to train her content, all because she, got more organized. All right. Okay. It also could mean technical stuff, equipment, like webcam, microphone. How are you looking? How are you showing up? All that stuff is going to help you get asked back again and again once you get that dialed in. So I don't hold anything back there. Key number 5, speaker sheet development. If you do not know what a speaker sheet is, that's okay. It's basically a sales page on you as a speaker. It's not about your products. Okay. It's not about your products. It's about you as a speaker, and it's meant for speaker planners, meeting planners, that kind of thing. And the hardest part about speaker sheet development is, yeah, we got to talk about ourselves and how great we are. And we got to gather a bunch of things. And so we use the Academy to do that, so that you have a soft landing. You get feedback on your bio, on your testimonials. How do you write a testimonial, or how would you get a testimonial? How long should it be on your speaker sheet? What if you've never spoken before? How do you create a speaker sheet if no one's seen you speak before? All these things. These are the questions that come to people's minds. If you already have a speaker sheet, I'm happy to look at it and evaluate it. All right. Number 6. Now, some of these are kind of one and dones. You got your talk done. Again, once you have it done, cool. Yes, you'll constantly tweak it a little bit, but you got it you got it on the shelf. Once you have your speaker sheet done, pretty much one and done. You might tweak it a couple years later, but for the most part, it's good. But this one, number 6, is constant. Keeping your speaking gig pipeline full. And it ties in with what I was saying about getting asked back again and again, because mine is always full. And it has been full for 8 years. And it's not because I've got a fancy software or that I have someone calling on my behalf. I don't have any complicated technology that I'm using. Okay. What I have and what you benefit from is my decades of sales experience and relationship building. And I teach you how to do that, because that is way more fun than cold calling and cold emailing. Can I get an amen? Right? We don't want to be cold calling and cold emailing people all the time. That's like soul sucking. Ugh. So I don't want that to happen to you. All right. Key number 7, scripts for getting booked and staying booked. When people started asking me for help on how to get speaking gigs, which is why I called my company that, because that's what people were asking me for. I started paying attention to what I said. I started paying attention to what I put in an email. And as I documented it, I realized, remember back when I was at Cal State Fullerton, I was teaching that interpersonal communication class. I've always been that board teacher. So I like to put things in like a spot where it's like, this is how we're going to break it down so simple that then you could do it just like what we did today. Let's take something really complicated and break it down into pieces so that you can start to incorporate it for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to do exactly what I did, but I'm going to give you a starting point, because I think we have too much white space. It's like, oh my God, what do I say? They emailed me back. These are real conversations I've had with clients. They asked me to speak. What do I do? Okay, breathe. And now we're going to respond. Like, this is what I want you to say, or this is like, let's workshop it through so that you can feel like you're getting taken care of. Or they ask me how much I charge. What do I tell them? Or they told me I can't sell from stage. What do I say? How do I leverage this opportunity? All of those things we can talk through, because I want you to be able to get a yes instead of a I'll think about it when you are approaching people to speak. We want to increase the odds of that happening, and that happens. So here's the 7 keys all in one spot. They're all also in my book. These are also the modules for all of the Academy. It's 7 modules, but we have 12 weeks that we work on things in the Academy, because I like to leave space for all the other things that happen. How do I make a PowerPoint? How do I make an offer? How do I make an offer when I'm told I can't make an offer? These are real things that happen. They'll happen to you. How do I fine tune my talk? Do I have too many slides? Yes, probably. All right. All right, cool. Okay, so we had talked about the kryptonite. And at the beginning, I don't know if everyone here was at the beginning, but we had a long list of kryptonite, speakers kryptonite that comes out. So I want to see in the chat, what kryptonite have you noticed has come up since we started? Let's see what kryptonite you caught. What's showing up for you? What if no one buys my stuff? Thank you, Helen. Yeah, very common. Very common. Yeah. And that can keep us from ever asking, right? Debbie said, I was unsure, but I moved forward. Good. I can't do all this yet, Pat. Thank you. Right? It can feel overwhelming and our system starts to shut down. Yeah, feeling salesy. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Like, yes, I still don't know where to go with my talk. Thank you, Deborah. It's so much to deal with. I'm willing. Yes. I don't know where to speak. I'm still working on my talk. Excellent, Elizabeth. Thank you. Yeah. These are things that it's just because even though we get tools, it doesn't mean that that niggling feeling doesn't go away, right? Who wants to listen to me? Yes, Trina. I'm not prepared. Great, Erica. Yeah, it's so strong, that voice trying to keep us busy doing something else, right? We have a dream, but no, we're so used to shutting it down. We're so used to not doing it. And that's why I wanted to bring this kryptonite piece in today, because it just is a show killer. It just can be a show killer. And I believe that if you're here, yeah, the anxiety is real. Thank you, Trina. I believe that if you're here, you do have something to share. Otherwise, why would you be here, right? Why would you be here if you didn't have something important to share? Okay, so thank you for that. And Deborah says, mine's more practical, just need the steps. Yeah, I just need to get steps, right? Yes, yes, who cares? They like my services when they are free. Yes, yes. So yeah, sometimes it's about money starts to creep in and we get weird about that. And then we just don't, want to ask. Yeah. So unlocking that kryptonite is super duper important. And that's why we work on that as well in the academy. And we work on it when it comes up. One of my clients, well, I'll share with you in just a second, but that kryptonite thinking, it's your armor trying to keep you safe. It's that fear, the resistance is protecting you from feeling angry, sad, rejected, frustrated, overwhelmed. It's just like, nope, right? What if I speak and then no one wants to hear it, or no one buys my stuff, or, we're protecting ourselves. But I can tell you for sure, if you do what I tell you to do, and you share with me that resistance, that fear, that kryptonite, whatever it is, when it comes up, we'll work through it together in the academy. We'll work on it so that you can start to recognize it quicker, move beyond it, and really go for that big vision. Here's a couple of examples of why I know that's true. I mean, we all have it, right? But some people have it less than others. Some people have overcome it. How do we know? Because we see speakers out there. I'll give you an example of why I know you can consistently book gigs it's because I've done it. Like, I average 60 speaking engagements a year. Pandemic didn't stop me. Okay. Yeah, I pivoted, right? But I cracked the code on that. I share all those codes with you. I just share them because I want to. Giving offers from stage. I saw Trina's comment about being salesy, right? There's a lot of us who don't want to sell from stage because it's like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm selling them. I don't want to, right? Well, there's a way to do it that feels good, that feels inviting, that doesn't feel salesy and creepy and weird. Because if you feel that way, of course, you're not going to say anything, right? But it is a skill. I always say we're not born from the womb knowing how to sell from stage, but you can learn it in a way that feels really good to you and set it up so that it feels good to you. That's important, because if you don't feel good about it, then no one's going to feel good about it. So we had one of my clients did not want to sell from stage. She really was resistant, but she knew that it was going to help help the audience members if they were able to work with her longer. So she did, and we figured out a way to create an offer that worked for her. And she actually led her very first paid workshop, and people paid her to be one-on-one clients. First workshop, she gets one-on-one clients, money in her pocket. Once we overcome that resistance piece. You can also get clients while you're in the academy, just like I was sharing about my one client a moment ago. I had another client terrified to speak, very powerful speaker, but just internally, you would never know out externally, but internally she was having a lot of struggle. And she booked herself 5 speaking engagements. One was an international engagement. And then created her own event and filled her own mastermind with over $10,000 in sales. So again, just depends. She'd never done a mastermind before. She'd never had an event before. She had never spoken officially before. And all that happened in 3 months. Okay. I also know that you can get booked while you're working with me, because I had a client who had never in her life reached out to an organization to be booked before. She had a lot of resistance and kryptonite about that. And we found an ideal organization for her to go for. We knew it was going to be probably an easy yes, right? Because we talked about it, we collaborated. And what do you know? She reaches out via email, terrified nonetheless, but with my handholding, we did it. And hot diggity dog, 2 weeks later, 3 bookings, 3 speaking engagements to her perfect audience. So these are things that we can overcome. And here's one thing that's really cool about this person. If she doesn't even ever go for any other organization or association or group, she could literally be booked with this particular organization because they've got chapters all over the country. And that's it. She could literally just, that's where she gets her clients, and that's it. So it's not always like having to be all these places all the time everywhere. It can actually be very simple when we have a great plan and strategy. Okay, you guys picking up what I'm throwing down here? Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. A couple of pieces I want to share, and then I want to get some big takeaways that you've had from today, because I want to open up the room and I want to hear from you. So kind of think like, what's my takeaway? What am I going to really work on? Or, you know, what was the aha moment for me? I want to hear from you. A couple of, I mentioned the Academy a couple times. Let's just talk and see if it's a fit. Like I said, it's starting in mid-June. And I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation. Some of you I don't know. I don't know how you heard about it, but I'm super glad you're here. But I want to see you one-on-one. I want to hear what you've got going on, and see how we can make speaking a viable business building opportunity for you. In the Academy, you do get me for 3 months. You get step-by-step curriculum, and you create a sustainable speaking system. All you do to apply for a call with me is go to GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/chat. That will lead you to the Rock Your Talk readiness assessment. Just complete some questions. It takes a few minutes. Like I said, I have limited availability for the next 2 weeks. So please get on my calendar for the next 2 weeks. If you cannot find a spot, you can message Mary Beth. Thank you, Mary Beth. Just put the link in. If you can't find a spot, let me know. Or you can tell Mary Beth in the chat, like, I can't find a spot, but I want to talk with her. And I can email you directly, or we can find a way. Because I want to make sure that you get that attention. What else was I going to tell you? Really, I love to teach, but I really just want to make sure you have an opportunity to get that message out there. And I get it. It's hard doing it by yourself. You can have all the tools, and one step you get stuck on, and then it all just stops. I have a coach myself, and it's because I'm always evolving and changing and growing too. Anything I learn, I bring that back to my clients. So you kind of get the benefit of my investment in myself too, which is kind of cool. And yes, let's get you booked while you're in the program. Yes, let's get you money and clients while you're in the program. Okay. Yep. So that's just at GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/chat. Go ahead and grab your time. And here's another little, here's the link for you in case you're listening to the audio and you aren't seeing the chat. It is GetSpeakingGigsNow.com/chat. All right. I am going to stop the share for a moment. Oh, good. Jennifer said she narrowed down what they were going to focus on. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna stop the share for a moment, and I want to hear from all of you. What were your big takeaways today? What was like one big takeaway that you got? Go ahead and put your hand up in the little pretend hand, little blue hand. Ooh, Dave says clarity. Good, 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 good. What else? Debbie, what was your big takeaway?
Structure.
Ah, yeah.
And simplifying the structure, not saying I don't have to tell them everything. So.
Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes we have so much information we want to share. We're just going to tell all the things, right? Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes. Erica says a mission statement and guide. Good, good. Helen, what did you get? Oops, where'd you go? There we go.
I learned that I actually have 2 streams to talk about my book and also the process that went into researching and writing, because I can help other people write their memoirs. And I think that would actually be more fun.
I love that because I remember when we first talked and you have this passion clearly. Again, look where you're passionate.
Yeah.
Look where what would you do if you weren't even getting paid, right? Oh my God, Trina, I'm a speaker. LOL, love it. Yeah. Hang around me long enough, girl. I'm telling you. And I will say, Trina, you are a speaker. I loved what you did. You guys should have seen it. She pulled out all this cool stuff from a box. It was really good. You had it all set up. It was great. I loved it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, sometimes we still get those nerves. I still get those nerves sometimes too. Oh, good. You're welcome, Jennifer. She said the workshop was awesome. Yes, thank you. All right. What else? What else did we get? Yes, Nancy.
So I came up with a new title, From Mediocre to Miraculous, a proactive approach to living your dreams.
Oh, I like that. I love that. Oh, good. Oh, yes. And sometimes we need that little subtitle to just like, drive it home. So people say, should I have a subtitle? I'm like, I don't know. It depends, right? It depends.
Just help clarify it.
I love that. I love that. All right. And Dave said you got clarity. Good. All right. Dave, what'd you get clarity on?
How better to get my message across clear, succinct.
Good.
And of course, now I have to write the talk to back it up.
Yes. Yeah, but usually when yes, and that's true for all of us, right? But when we come up with our own learning points, it's usually something we know about, like, oh, I've read tons of books and all my expertise is about that, or I have a great story about that, right? And so then it starts to flow. And even in that, sometimes you might come up with a different learning point. So it's allowing that creative process to really happen. How beautiful. Thank you. All right. Who else would like to share? Anybody we haven't heard from today? Esther.
I learned some of the questions, focus, and I can see that it's possible. I get that it's all there.
Yes.
And I see that it's not rocket science or brain surgery. I can see it's possible. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yes, it is possible, right? It is possible. I love that. I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. Lorraine, I haven't heard from you. I see you.
I know I'm a little shy about, I don't know why, because I'm not shy at all. Well, I had some excellent help with Deborah and Phyllis, other people to help wrap my head around exactly where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be called organization.
Yeah.
And, so.
I love it. Yeah, because sometimes we hold it all in our head and we've been thinking of, have you ever noticed like you're thinking about it, ruminating and like creating, and it's all in our head, and just something about putting it on paper or it's so powerful, or saying it to somebody else. You're like, oh, I guess it's not really that. Oh, it's just a sentence. Oh, okay. Got it. Yes. Love that. All right. Oh, I'm looking at your beautiful faces. Carolyn, how you doing over there, Carolyn?
I'm good. I'm taking notes.
Okay, good.
And I have lots of stuff brewing in my head. I got to sort it all out, but a lot of good stuff came from this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, good. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Esther, for that. All right. So we are going to wrap up, my beautiful angels, and I am truly grateful for your energy today, showing up. That, my friends, is the divider, right? Like show up, put in the work, and that's when change starts to happen. So I am grateful for your time. I'm grateful for Mary Beth. Mary Beth, thank you for creating, let's all give her a hand. Thank you for creating a safe, organized space for me to teach and for all of you to learn and for us to collaborate and connect together, all the breakout rooms, everything. We appreciate you. And I know I felt safe and supported with you here. And I just feel safe and supported by having all of you here and share and your vulnerabilities, your kryptonite, your titles. I get it. This is a work in progress and it's not, you know, an exact science. So I appreciate your willingness to get in there, get your hand. It's kind of like finger painting, like get your hands in that fingers and your fingers in the paint and start messing around. And all of a sudden you create a work of art. So thank you for being awesome and showing up today. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. Make sure if you wanted to save the chat that you do so now because we're going to close the group. And sometimes I'm a little quick on the draw and I've been known to close out the group before someone had a chance to save the chat. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thanks for the Dream Factory. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Dave, we'll talk offline. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Denise. Thank you for being here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Oh, if you want to
Thanks,
put.
Lisa. This was fabulous. You did a great job as usual.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you,
You're a
Phyllis.
wonderful teacher.
Oh, thank you. My heart is so full. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Trina. Bye. Thank you, Pat. Bye. Bye, everybody.
So great. Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome.
What
You're
a
welcome.
treat. The Dream Factory will not be the same for the work that you did here today. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. And Grace, if you can hear me, I have something I was going to share with you too. So let's get on another call.
Yeah, Lisa.
Okay, cool.
I'm in the bathroom. That's
Well,
why I'm kind of
TMI girl, TMI
yeah.
girl. Okay.
No, I'm hiding in here so I can talk to you away from the client. Anyway, yes, let's talk offline.
Okay. Love you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
You were great. I love this. So much
Thank
value. You're awesome. Amazing.
Thank
Wonderful teacher. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Everyone get a chance to